Hello, and welcome to the Hypno Travelers on the Magical Psyche Highway podcast. That's right. Your host and tour guide is Scott Prevet, a healer, hypnotist, and a magician. And your bus driver is Jason Gobelli, also hypnotist, an entrepreneur, and a spiritual guide. Disclaimer, neither Jason, Scott, or any of our guests here today are licensed professional psychologists or psychiatrists. So please don't make any changes to any medication or treatments that you are currently on based on the conversation that you hear here today. Just hop on the bus and enjoy the ride. Trip with us on the Inner Revelation bus. That's right.
Hi, I'm Jason. Welcome back to the Hypno Travelers on the Magical Psyche Highway, and we are excited today, aren't we, Scott?
Heck yeah, I got a great guest from the Lone Star State of Texas.
That's right. We got Christine. Christine, how are you?
Oh, great. How are you guys doing today?
We
Awesome.
are so blessed. Welcome to the show. We're glad to have you, and we're excited to travel down your highway.
It is a travel journey, isn't it?
That's right.
I
That's
love
right.
it.
Shall we get
Yeah.
started?
Perfect. Yeah.
Okay, big
Whenever
question.
you're-
Who are
Yeah.
you and what do you do?
Oh, I'm Christine Marie Pizzuto, and I own a personal growth and development company. We work mainly with entrepreneurs, business professionals, and individuals with a particular interest, a particular focus on leveraging the most important asset that we have is our brain, in particular, our subconscious level of mind. Yep. That's how we work with people. We do live events. We have full day workshops, transformational, a whole transformational day. We do seminars, workshops, and we do some trainings on Zoom as well. Yeah.
Nice. So, Christine, how did you get into all of this?
Yeah, really, really good question. And it's a good question because I think every one of us, at some point in our life has a feeling we've got a pull for something more, right? For something different and for something more. Yeah, my background was, I was in a medical model. I used to work in, a cath lab, which is we used to work with hearts. I was a ICU, cardiovascular ICU nurse, and we used to fix hearts so that people wouldn't have to go to the open heart and go to surgery. And over time, I began to awaken to an understanding. I began to start seeing we would see the same patients coming in over and over again for the same procedures. Even when we told them, look, if you don't lose the weight, stop smoking, reduce the stress, you're going to shorten your life, right? And, these people wanted to do that, and they would start out really trying, but then they'd go back to the same patterns, and we'd see the same patients over and over again. And then I got really curious about that. What was it that when people really even needed to change, they weren't able to do it? Why wasn't it that when I had a goal that I wanted to work on, that I would go back to the same habit patterns, right? So I got really curious about that, and I took a deep dive in understanding some brain science, I did a lot of studies on metaphysics, just neuroscience, so many studies. I was working on my master's degree, and I thought I'd be a talk therapist, and that was not it. It was like, it was not going to be it. Because I began to start to see that everything pointed to the subconscious level of mind. So I thought, well, why aren't we leveraging like one of the most important assets that we have, right? So that's where I began to start to do the work. So in our programs, in our transformational programs, what we teach, what we bring people through, and how we help them accomplish their goals is we use that in leveraging those frameworks and those tools and those strategies of working with the subconscious level of mind in reaching their goals, working with companies, but specifically with the individuals that are working within the company that have goals that are set for themselves, right? Yeah. So that's what we do, and that's how I got started.
So let me ask you a question. So are you working just with the minds now, or are you still working with the hearts?
Oh, right, for sure. Oh my gosh. Well, it's a connectedness, right? And that's what we do in our live events. We're connecting both of those together. We initially start out laying down some foundational understanding about, really, but it's just like the subconscious level of mind is like this interface that keeps us from our heart, right? That's really available and what it is that's pulling us, that we want to, everyone has that desire. Whether, if you're listening to that pool, it's there. It's a pool for that moreness that's just wanting to, what is it in me that I know that I have more potential? And it just gets buried. It gets buried. And the reason why we focus on that particular, and I say it's the brain and it's it's the interface really between us and our hearts and what's available to us. So we do a lot of teaching around universal principles and how we align ourselves with these universal success principles that really they're happening already always anyway, but then how do we align ourselves to that so that things are happening a lot faster, a lot quicker. We're kind of getting out of our own way.
So when did you have that like aha moment? Like, man, I can do something and I can help people this way.
Yeah.
What's that like?
Yeah, so I just was following my interest, and I would say to anybody, just take those steps and follow your interest. I was working for, we were doing, I was actually working for a company was a medical device company where we were putting in heart stents in the cath lab. And so I was still working for the company, but I was taking classes on the weekends and I was just following my interest. And I found myself in so many different programs. I was in a hypnosis program for a full year and learning how. I never thought I'd be a hypnotist. It was not my intention. I was just interested. I was following my interest. We got laid off. I think this cardiology division merged and I would have had to travel, and I didn't want to do that. So I had a severance package because the company was shutting down. That part of the division of the company was shutting down. And I had a severance package. So I thought, well, let me just see what this is about. And I started working with people, right? And initially, I will say, I wasn't getting the results that I wanted with people. I thought that there was way more potential there than what was happening. So I got more training, and I just kept getting more training. I kept investing in myself until I began to start to really get results with people. Literally, I hung my own shingle, and I figured out a business model that I could make this a business and helping people in a much more in a bigger way. For me, it was much more contribution. I mean, we were literally saving people's lives, working in a cath lab in a medical model. However, we weren't changing people's lives, right? They were going back and doing the same things over and over again. So the quality of their life really hadn't changed. Can save a life, but not really, really change that quality of life. So, I had a bigger calling for more contribution in what we were doing. So after working with clients, I would get clients that would say to me, well, gosh, do I have to leave? Can I still stay? Like, what can we work on next? And that's when we developed the coaching programs that we now have, the events that we now do with people. And that's how that developed. It was just an ask. So it started from following an interest that I had, following that pool that I had, that there was something more, right?
Nice.
It's kind of like my awakening. Yeah.
Nice. Well,
Yeah.
I know that you and Scott have so much in common, so he's probably nipping at the bud to ask some questions. So come on, Scott, bring it.
All
My
right,
question is not
Scott.
about,
Hi there.
hey, we just come from the same background.
We
But my
do?
question, we do. I was an RCIS for a while.
Okay. All
Um,
right. Yeah.
my question is back towards the coaching aspect. What do people, why would they come to you and look you up? Tell me some of the reasons that people come to see you. What
Yeah.
can you help them
So,
with?
yeah, I have two different arms of my business. I have directly people find me specifically knowing something is available to them doing hypnosis, right? And then those clients so often then will go over into coaching programs because they want to work on what's next for them. What's that next? What's that next for me now? that I'm like on fire and I'm understanding what's going on, and and I'm feeling differently, and I've reached a goal, and what's that next goal? So those clients will move over into a program. And then the business model in how I work with other people is live events, right? We go in and do talks. We're doing seminars, workshops, and then in that environment, people choose, or companies choose, to have somebody work with me one-on-one with their staff or their team, in reaching and accomplishing their goals. Yeah. It's
Awesome.
so fun.
So in businesses, are you helping the businesses accomplish their sales goals? And
It's individually working with the individuals and their sales goals. Yeah. Yeah, for sure. And, that's where they're seeing their numbers change when people are on fire. I get, messages all the time. I'm crushing my business plan or crushing my numbers. Yeah. It's like an accelerated process for reaching our goals. Yeah.
So, big question for you. What do you call your seminars? What's the thing that just brings people in? What do you call them?
Yeah, so they're accelerator.
Accelerator.
We're talking about one of the most powerful assets we have is our brain. We're leveraging that to accelerate the results that we want, right? So I call it accelerator. We've got different names. We've got, once you come into my world and you say, yes, I get this, I'm understanding, people become awake and aware of the power of leveraging this part of our brain. We go into like, we take them through processes that into your genius. We're working with 6 mental faculties of our brain, of our mind, that we're not trained how to use, right? So that's one of we do a whole human framework with people, understanding, laying down this foundational understanding, transformational about who they really are, and then really understanding how we're just wired in this human side of our nature. And then having the tools and the strategies, the frameworks that really walk them through that it's literally their transformational programs.
So,
Yeah.
you got all this going on. So, who are your mentors? Who helped you get to where you are today and
Oh,
who
so
you are
many,
today?
so many. We cannot, right? We cannot do it by ourselves. When I began to start to become aware that there was something more, um, didn't know what that was, and just following my interest, just just opening up to and saying yes. One of my very first mentors many years ago was Bob Proctor. You guys probably know Bob Proctor. And then I took a big deep dive in a spiritual part of. I went on pilgrimages. I traveled, to retreats, and I did. Oh my gosh, so many. Like you said, where's the mind body? Where's the heart aspect of it? That's the transformational work that I did for myself. Right. Yeah. So I took whatever training I could take. I traveled to wherever I could go, what I could do. And then, gosh, so many. But Bob Proctor was my first awakening. Oh my gosh, this was maybe 2008. It's been a long time. And then I've worked with people specifically, like, how do I get better at really the tools and the technologies that we use in helping people transform? How do we make them change, break a habit? What is that? And those mentors have always, those are everyone that's in our space, in our hypnosis space, right?
So, now that you tell me Bob Proctor and all the spiritual stuff, I thought originally that maybe that you were working with these people, there was a lot of the neuroscience and in that end, but now it sounds like you got quite a bit of woo in there too, huh?
Yeah. Oh, for sure. Yeah, absolutely. Well, I have to tell you though, this is what I want to share. I had all the woo initially. Because I had taken a deep dive, but then how did I transform that woo into literally the results that I wanted? And I got stuck. I had all of this knowledge, all this training, all this deep dive spiritual. I was filled up and I was excited to share and help people in a way, but I got stuck. I had gone as far as I could go to the level I had gone, and had all of this this, all this really great stuff that I had been through, and experienced. But it wasn't until I brought in and started really working with the neuroscience part of changing the brain. So I would say, for all of us that are, no matter how successful we are, and, I get some pretty successful people. They don't have issues with certain things, but they've got an issue with this. What is that about? What's that next level that really holds them back? That's the brain science that's going on. It's like that, it's that interface between us and what's available to us, right? So I got stuck until I really began. And then I had to put together the frameworks for how do I work with everything that I was learning, right? So that was really my turning point. Right. So, we can do the work on ourselves, but if we're not getting what we want, if we've got a vision, we've got a dream, we've got a goal, and even if it's just a feeling that we have that, we're not sure what that is, but we know we want something more. It's really just about, understanding what's really holding us back and being able to get to that and understanding, the brain science part of it. So it was the neuroscience part that really, when I began to start working with that and shifting and changing at that deeper level, the subconscious level of mind, I was actually even helping other people at that level, but it really wasn't until I did my own work at that level that things began to start to shift for me. Yeah.
Well, let me ask you a question now. So you're also married. So is your husband on the train with you?
Well, we definitely are riding a train together. That's a good one. It's a good one. Yeah. So when I first met my husband, he was totally open to, when he saw that I was studying hypnosis and had all of my books laid out back, like I said, in 2008, and my books laid out. And, he said, when I first met him and he saw that, and he said, "Oh, you're studying hypnosis." And I said, "Yeah, and he said, "Well, I tried to teach myself self-hypnosis when my kids were young, and my kids would make fun of me because I'd fall asleep." So he was totally open to it, and actually even intrigued. And so much of our togetherness has to do with the work that we've done, on ourselves, and, and how that helps us in our relationship and how it helps it grow, who we're being really in relationship and understanding. We're way more than our mind. We're way more than our bodies. It's just, this is our human side of our nature. And how do we manage that, to lean into, oh my gosh, everything that's available to us, it's there. So good. Yeah.
So is he doing the seminars with you?
He has his own, because of the work actually he's done with me, probably he would give you that credit or give me that credit. He has his own dreams that he's going after. During COVID, he opened up his own firm. He travels with that. He's out of the country a lot. And when things were kind of shaky, not under, like, it was the principles, that we work together, really in understanding these universal principles that are exacting, they're true, they're, when I say true, it's like, I say it's like the law of buoyancy. If you trust that you can float on water and you relax and let your body relax on water, it's going to float, right? It's not until we don't trust it, and not until we begin to struggle and try, right, that we begin to sink and we drown and we struggle. So, yeah, so there were times that, in him growing his business, but he has his own business, and totally supports me, but we're on the same path as far as our thinking. He, totally gets, it's a brain, it's a thinking first. And really it's everything is about our thinking, our health, all the results that we have in our life. He gets all of that, and he's totally on board with that. he's not on my train as far as the work that we do. I have an assistant. She's great. And then, we've got other people. I've got Erica that helps. She's right with me. She's learned so much. And, if you talk to me, you're probably talking to Erica as well. Yeah. Yeah.
Nice. Nice. Well, what about the kids too? Are they connected? Do you work with
So
them
good.
as well?
So good. Yeah. Yeah. So when I got married, I wasn't 50, or excuse me, I had never been married before. I was 50 when I first got married. So, so this is a first marriage for me. So when I met my husband, his kids were grown and totally, they call me their bonus mom. Cause they love, yeah, they're initially they were like, "Oh, okay, who is this?" She definitely thinks differently. Over the years, the kids have, we've taken them to seminars with us or with me, and they get it, they love it. In fact, our kids are always inviting us to travel with them when they go on trips out of the country, and it's like, it's such an honor that they feel connected and they think we're cool enough to travel with.
Nice.
Yeah.
Man, Christine, you got so much
Yeah.
going on. How do our viewers get a hold of you?
Yeah, so you can certainly go to my website. It's yourinventedlife.com. I would say that if you want to know, so many people say, well, how do I know, what's holding me back, or if something's holding me back, or what that's about? I have a quiz on my website. And you can download that quiz, get some answers. I mean, and even if you're not an entrepreneur, even if you don't have a business, if it's just something that what, um, we look at our results. Bob Proctor told me, he says, if you want to know what you're thinking, take a look at your results. Never forgotten that, because your results don't lie. What are your relationships like? How are you showing up the way you want to show up? What's your bank account like? Literally, if you're not getting the results that you want, right? It will show you. It's a reflective universe that we live in. It'll show us in our results. So that quiz, if you go and take that quiz, it'll give you some ideas. You'll get some great feedback from that, and that's available to you. It's kind of a fun thing to do. It's at www.yourinventedlife.com. Or you can reach out personally, support at Your Invented Life. Erica will be there, or you can reach me personally, Christine at yourinventedlife.com.
Beautiful, beautiful. Come on, Scott, you got any more questions for her? I know you do.
Sure. So let's jump forward a little bit and go 10 years from now. When you're looking back, what do you expect to have accomplished?
Oh, wow. Yeah. Yeah. Well, so we certainly have some goals in our business at the amount of people that we have said that we want to help. And we work backwards from that and how we do that. And it's also about having a work-life balance as well. I got caught up a few years ago when I was really building the business. It was work without, I wasn't, the health that I wanted to be in. I always good health, but I was starting to, just really work a lot. So it's that work-life balance. So for us, it's also going to be, about that balance, having time with our kids to travel. We plan to take a trip with them in September. We're going to be in the Greek islands. We've got a boat on, so it's really great. We're going to, spend time with our kids. So 10 years from now, it's the work-life balance with really running business. It's generating, that lifestyle that we want, and how many people. I believe that the income that we bring in is really a reflection of the amount of people that we help. Definitely is the amount of people we reach, touch, and help. So, yeah. So we've got some goals there.
Awesome.
Any books out there you got in your head?
They're in my head. I spend a lot of my time teaching. I just may take one of our programs that we bring people through and just have it transcribed now with AI, and it could be like all of the processes, the whole human framework that we take people through. Just haven't done that. But certainly it would be a value for people. So thank you for that. I'm going to put that on our list to do.
Nice.
Yeah. What would you guys suggest? What do you guys like? What are you guys thinking? What's a good book to put out that would help people?
I
Would
think
really help them.
just put on paper what's on your heart.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Love that.
Absolutely.
So, Scott, do you have any other questions?
I think I'm good.
Christine, do you have any other thing you want to add?
I would say there is gonna have it put on a t-shirt that says Chenwa Haseo. It's a Japanese saying. It's one of the not pilgrimage, but it was definitely I traveled and went and spent some time in learning and understanding. It was a mind-body experience, and it says Chenwa Haseo, and it's one of my favorite sayings, and it means please become who you were meant to be and live your life for it.
Nice.
Yeah.
So now I got one more big question for you because we're not through yet.
Okay.
If you could give our viewers any words of wisdom, what would you tell them?
Yeah, for sure. To listen to that pull that's calling you, that tells you that there's more for your life, because there is, right? To just trust it, take the steps to listen to it. We don't know where we're going, but if we follow our interests, it opens up and it heads us in a whole different direction. Just that tenth of an inch of a degree that we head in a different direction. It's like a a ship on the water. You end up in a different land, and it's, I know for me, it was like this technicolor world opened up to me. I got happier, I got healthier. I created a business that was much more meaningful, helping way more people. So I would say follow your interest. Listen to that pull that says that, and that says that there's more for you.
Nice.
Because it's there for a reason. Because that's who you really are. That's that heart part. You can't deny it. Yeah.
That's wonderful, Christine. That's wonderful. It certainly has been a pleasure traveling down your magical psyche highway. We've enjoyed having you on the show.
Love it.
So thank you.
It's been great. Yeah, really good to connect with you guys. Thank you so
Thank
much
you.
for sharing and allowing me to share.
Thanks,
Good.
Christine. Thanks for being here.
Thanks.
And for our viewers out there, we're glad you're here too. We hope you've enjoyed the show. If you like us, give us the thumbs up. If you think we're assholes, we don't care. Just give us a thumbs down. We're glad you're here. We'd like you to subscribe. We hope to see you next week, and we just want you to come back. Thanks again for coming.
Wow, what a trip. Thanks for taking that journey with us today. Please like us, share us, and enlighten us with your views of the topics we drove into today. We appreciate you and love reading your comments. Thanks again, and we hope to see you back on the bus next week. That's right.